As the manager, you are responsible for teaching your drivers how to use paper logs and get a lot of discussions with drivers, and it goes something like this that says, hey, if I have to run paper tonight, I'm just not running. You need to make it perfectly clear to your driver if they have an ELD that is not working properly and they have to go to paper. It's up to them to go to paper, and it's up to you to make sure they know how to use a paper log properly. What I tell drivers is if you're not running tonight because you're not willing to do paper, you're not getting paid tonight. So that's just simple facts. If you're not going to run on paper, you're just not going to get paid. So make sure that your drivers have the tools. You got the logbook in the truck. They know how to do a log. It is the same four duty statuses that is on the electronic log. The real problem is the younger drivers are not being taught how to fill out a paper log during their CDL school, and they're just not familiar with it. So it's up to you as the manager to teach them how to properly fill out a paper log. Okay, I did a real simple log here, and it's not difficult. You're just going to fill out the date in the top left hand corner. You're going to put in the domicile terminal that you started at, like 303 here, and then you're going to write in the mileage that you went for the day, and that's going to be the last thing that you fill in. Make sure that they have their FedEx ID, that they put their name on there, that they sign. If you have a co-driver, make sure that they have that in there. And it's simply just having a ruler in the truck. Make sure it's in the truck binder. Make sure there's a pen in the truck binder so that they know how to do this. And the most important thing in the other video that you learned is a DOT officer needs to have an understanding of where the driver is coming from and going to. That's that's really it. So in this example, they did a pre-trip in Atlanta at 303, and they did that for about 30 minutes. Then they drove over to Birmingham. They took two trailers with them, which you can see in the dolly. And then in Birmingham, they dropped those two trailers. They did their 30-minute break in Birmingham, and they came back to 303 in Atlanta with two new trailers, same dolly. They didn't switch dollies, and just came back and went to 303 and did a post-trip inspection. They added up their hours. That's it. This is all that it is. It's not a big mystery on this stuff. Is all you're doing, the driver that is making sure that they place a note on every duty change. So they just write in there what they're doing. They could be fueling, they could be taking a break, they could be off duty, they could be, whatever is going on, as long as they just put the notes in there. This can be problematic because you have a driver that ran paper last night and you forgot to follow up with them to get the paper log. The easiest thing to do with your drivers is they need to tell you that they went to paper, and just make sure that they just take a picture with their phone of the log, send it to you so you can do the right things with it so FedEx can keep it. Remember, on logs, the regulation states that line haul must keep these paper logs for 6 months. So there needs to be the record of, okay, where's that log that your driver used last night, and that you follow the proper procedures to make sure that we maintain those records for the required 6 months. Okay, when you receive those logs from your driver, okay, they used a paper log last night, they came back early in the morning, they have, gone home and gone to bed, they're coming back on duty this evening, they're showing up at 7 p.m. Hey driver, where's my log from last night? Oh yeah, boss, I forgot to send it to you. Let me take a picture of it real quick and send it to them. It's not up to the driver for for them to remember to send it to you. That would be in the perfect world. What we want is for you, the manager, to follow up with them and go, where's my paper log, and send it to me. Then what you're going to do is you're going to send it to this email address and make sure that you keep this in your contact folder of, just put in your contact folder on your phone, paper log, email address or whatever, and put this address in there. When you get those logs, you're going to forward it to this email so that they can maintain it for the required 6 months. But wait, there's more. One of the things that a manager gets, the AO or the BC, is an email from Linehaul that says, hey, we have missing logs. They don't know that your driver ran on paper logs last night, and therefore you need to recreate the record in the ELD. There's a lot of different methods of doing this. Some people try to recreate the entire log of all the duty status and all that. The problem with the ELD is it likes to have the odometer reading on all of those duty status changes. And what we're trying to do is we're actually trying to create a log that, hey, it was Joe Smith, like we had in the example of our paper log, drove last night, and Joe drove for 6.5 hours and was on duty for 8 hours, let's say. The easiest way to do this is to go in the day that the paper log was made and create a single on-duty status for the driver for the 8 hours. It's just easier to do that because you don't have the odometer reading. It could take, an hour to recreate the log. And even then it may not do correctly due to the ELD device. So the easiest thing to do is to go to the day that we have a missing, log and put in duty status for the entire shift. And then you're going to annotate that with paper log is the correct record. And then when you're sending it into the ELD clearinghouse email address, then what you're going to do is you're going to take the log that you created in the ELD with the paper log and send it together. And then that'll make it a lot easier for them to go, oh, this is what happened. The ELD was not working. Driver used a paper log, recreated it. I'm not going to get a missing log report from Linehaul, and everything is good. So I know it seems like a lot on the paper log, and it can be. You definitely want to use the ELD on every trip. You definitely want to make sure the ELD is working properly, but when it doesn't, you got to follow these steps. And it's up to you as the manager to make sure that these steps are followed.